All right, so you're here because you've hit that C2 level in English, which is, well, amazing.
It really is.
You can watch movies, read pretty complex stuff, hold your own in conversations, but maybe there's still that little nagging feeling like something's still missing.
Mm-hmm. Those unspoken rules, maybe?
Yeah.
Or the really fast nuances that, textbooks just can't quite give you.
Exactly. It's like trying to hear whispers in a really crowded room. You can do it, technically, but catching every single little thing, that's tough.
Yeah, it's that desire to really polish things up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
To sound completely natural, pick up on all the subtext, the implied meaning, maybe smooth out those tiny slips that still happen sometimes.
Yeah.
You're really aiming for that sought-after near-native feel where the language just feels transparent.
Precisely. And that's what we're diving into today. We're going deep on mastering those advanced English listening skills.
Okay.
We want to unpack what C2 listening really means, look at some effective techniques to sharpen your ear, and give you some specific engaging resources to help you get there.
Kind of like tuning your internal language radar.
Exactly. Tuning it to its highest sensitivity.
So let's start there. What is C2 listening? We talked about the CEFR, the Common European Framework. C2 is the top.
Right. The peak. It means you can understand with ease virtually everything heard or read. That's the official description.
But it's more than just like basic comprehension, isn't it?
Oh, much more. You're not just getting the words, you're getting the world behind them. It's about having a really deep command.
Not necessarily perfect, though.
No, not perfect. You might still have, slight accent things or maybe use an idiom slightly off now and then. That's totally normal for a non-native speaker, even at C2.
The key difference is that ability to differentiate the finer shades of meaning. That's the C2 hallmark.
Okay, so that's the real jump from C1.
I think so, yeah. C1 is already expert-level handling, demanding text, implicit meaning. But C2, that's where you discern those really subtle differences, even when things get complex or speakers are talking fast.
So you go from expert to dot master.
Basically, yes, a master. And at this level, you're effortlessly handling lectures, intense debates, complex presentations. You're getting idioms, colloquial stuff, fast chat, even subtle emotional tones.
Oh, really?
It's about really understanding abstract ideas, deep analysis, even stuff where the meaning isn't stated directly, ambiguous things.
And you mentioned humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Humor, nuance, implied meanings, the whole sociocultural side of things, understanding why someone said something that way and reacting naturally.
So, okay, why is this advanced listening skill so critical? Beyond just, passing a test or getting the certificate.
Well, first off, it totally changes how you interact.
How so?
When you truly understand native speakers in real time, catch every little cue, the conversation just flows better. Fewer misunderstandings. It's smoother, more natural.
Right.
Academically, it's often essential. Many advanced programs need you to follow high-speed, complex lectures, discussions.
You can't miss things there.
Exactly. Professionally, huge advantage. Think meetings, negotiations, networking. Missing a subtle point could be really costly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And culturally, listening to diverse accents, different ways of speaking, all those idioms. It just deepens your cultural awareness and empathy. Much more than just reading can.
Okay. But even at this super advanced stage, learners still hit roadblocks, right? I hear people say they understand academic stuff fine, but then a real-world lecture throws them.
Definitely.
Maybe the speaker's tone changes the meaning slightly, or they just miss details in fast conversations.
Absolutely. That's a common one. Fast speech is probably one of the biggest hurdles.
Just the speed itself.
Yeah, native speakers often talk incredibly quickly. They merge words, use contractions, sometimes drop sounds entirely. It could feel like a solid wall of noise if your ear isn't trained for it.
And it's not just speed, is it? Accents play a huge part.
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Accents can completely change pronunciation, intonation. You've got all the regional accents, say, across the U.S. and the U.K., but also accents from different communities worldwide. Your ear needs to be super flexible.
Right. Adaptable.
That's the word.
Yeah.
And then you have idioms and colloquialisms.
Yes. The secret codes.
Kind of. They can be totally confusing if you take them literally, but
Yeah.
they're just part of the fabric of advanced listening. You have to know them.
What else?
Just maintaining focus, honestly. Listening intently for long periods is mentally tiring.
Yeah, it really is. Something I find interesting is when learners say music, like songs, are actually harder for them than fast speech.
That's a great point.
It's not just speed, but the words blend with music, background noise. Maybe the language is more poetic or less direct.
It's a different kind of cognitive load, absolutely. Getting 100% comprehension without lyrics can be really tough.
Yeah.
It shows that listening isn't passive at all.
No way.
You need active engagement, especially at C2. You need techniques that actively train your brain to filter, interpret, predict.
Okay, so we've laid out the challenges. Now, the good stuff. Practical techniques. How do we actually do this? Let's start with one I hear about a lot. Shadowing.
Ah, shadowing, yes.
Yeah.
Highly effective.
So you listen and repeat immediately, right? Mimicking pronunciation, intonation, rhythm. Sounds simple, but what's really going on?
Well, research, like Hamada's work, shows that by actively mimicking, you're not just copying words, you're sort of tuning your brain to the speaker's rhythm and prosody, almost subconsciously.
So your mouth teaches your ear.
In a way, yeah. It helps you anticipate the flow, makes you more sensitive to how stress and intonation carry implied meaning, which is so important for C2.
How should you start?
Or start with clear, natural speech. News, TED Talks, podcasts are good. Play it at normal speed. Pause chunk by chunk if you need to at first.
But aim for native speed eventually.
Oh, I'd say try native speed right away. Don't be afraid. The goal isn't perfection, it's that active engagement, focusing not just on words, but the emphasis.
Okay, another one you mentioned sounds kind of fun. Dictogloss. Listening, taking notes, then reconstructing the text with others.
Yes, Dictogloss is great. Wajrub highlighted its benefits. The magic for advanced learners is that it forces you to focus on meaning and specific language features at the same time.
So not just what was said, but how it was said.
Exactly. How ideas connect, the structure, the specific words used. For C2, definitely use complex, authentic stuff, news analysis, university lectures. Really challenge yourselves.
Okay, so when you are listening to something complex, how do you manage understanding the big picture versus catching tiny details? That seems tricky.
It is. And advanced learners need to switch between those modes seamlessly, understanding the overall gist, but also zooming in on specifics, names, dates, stats.
That flexibility is key then.
Crucial. Vandegrift's work points this out. Moving between that top-down, big-picture listening and bottom-up, detail-focused listening is essential for real competency. Zooming in and out with your ears, basically.
You know, one technique that sounds really cool is predictive listening. Almost sounds like mind reading.
Huh. It kind of feels like it sometimes. It's about anticipating what a speaker might say next.
Based on
Context, their tone of voice, your own background knowledge. It's incredibly helpful with fast or complex speech because you're not just passively waiting for words. You're already thinking ahead.
so you don't get lost as easily.
Exactly. Wilson found it really boosts comprehension and focus, especially over longer listening tasks. A good way to practice is to pause recordings at, like, cliffhanger moments and guess what's next.
Simple, but effective. And after listening, summarizing is always good, right? In your own words.
Absolutely. Orally or written, it forces you to process and proves you really understood the core message.
What about transcribing, actually writing down what you hear?
Also very valuable, especially for catching those fast speech things, merged words, dropped sounds. You'll be surprised what you notice when you try to write it down accurately.
And now we even have AI tools, like ChatGPT.
Yeah, you can use them to discuss what you heard, get feedback on your summaries. It's another way to check your understanding of the nuances.
Okay, beyond specific techniques, what about just general exposure?
Crucial. You need diverse exposure. Integrate real-life stuff, podcasts, news, interviews, unscripted conversations, loads of them.
Why is that so important?
Because it exposes you to everything. Different accents, speeds, ways of speaking. Field talks about how authentic materials help develop both that top-down general understanding and the bottom-up detail processing.
Should you play around with speed controls, like faster playback?
Definitely experiment with that. 1.25x, maybe even 2x sometimes. You get your brain used to faster speeds. And interestingly, it can actually help you stop translating in your head because you just don't have time.
That's a good point. What about deliberately listening to, well, bad audio?
Yes, poor quality audio. It sounds counterintuitive maybe, but challenge yourself. Listen with background noise, put on some cafe sounds, or just turn the volume down a bit. It trains your brain to predict missing bits, which is exactly what you do in noisy real-world situations.
Makes sense. And visuals help too, right? Slides, videos.
Hugely helpful. Pair audio with visuals whenever possible. It provides context, extra cues. Think about Mayer's work on multimedia learning processing through multiple channels deepens understanding. Visuals aren't just fluff, they actively support your listening.
What about subtitles and transcripts? Use them, avoid them.
Use them strategically. Start with them if needed, especially for really tough content, but then gradually switch them off to challenge your ear.
And transcript.
Review them after listening. They're fantastic for diagnosing what you missed, understanding why you missed it, seeing the words you couldn't catch.
So all this work, how does it help master those really subtle C2 nuances?
It comes down to building your oral vocabulary. Not just knowing words on paper, but recognizing them instantly when spoken, no matter the accent or speed.
How do you build that?
Audiobooks are great for encountering a wide range of vocabulary and context. And listen to tons of informal chat to pick up slang, colloquialisms, the words that live mainly in spoken language.
And intonation, the music of the language.
Pay super close attention to it. How the voice rises and falls, where the stress lands, the pauses. It's incredibly important.
Like how yes can mean so many things.
Exactly. Sarcasm, enthusiasm, doubt. It's often all in the intonation. Mastering this lets you read between the lines, even when there are no lines.
And audiobooks are good for this too.
Fantastic. Because it's only audio, you really focus on those vocal cues, the narrator's delivery, you absorb it.
Okay, this is all great, but people need a sustainable routine, right? How do you build that?
Consistency. That's the absolute key. Like building muscle. Little and often is better than massive sessions once in a blue moon.
So fit it into daily life.
Yep. Find those pockets of time, your commute, cooking, working out, waiting in line. Even 5 focus minutes adds up. Make it a ritual, not a chore.
Or maybe time blocking, scheduling it in.
That works really well for some people. Dedicate, say, 45 minutes a day just for listening practice. It signals to your brain. This is important. Focused time.
What about vocabulary? There's so many words.
Don't try to learn everything. Prioritize. Focus on words relevant to your interests or words that keep popping up. Quality over quantity.
And when you hear a new one,
rewind. Guess the meaning from context. Write it down. And crucially, use it yourself. Say it. Write it. That makes it stick.
how do you track progress? How do you know if it's working?
Listening journals are brilliant for this.
What do you put in them?
What you listened to, what was hard, what strategies you tried.
Yeah.
Looking back shows you how far you've come. Vandergrift and Goss say it boosts your metacognitive awareness. You understand your own learning better.
What else? Self-assessment.
Yeah. Use proficiency scales, quizzes on apps. Record yourself speaking sometimes and listen back. You'll hear things you don't notice while talking.
And feedback from others.
Essential. Talk to classmates, teachers. Find language partners on apps like TalkPal, Tandem, HelloTalk. Get constructive feedback. It's invaluable.
And set goals.
Definitely. SMART goals. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Gives you focus and direction.
And finally, be patient. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. It's a journey. Find stuff you genuinely like listening to. If you hate it, you won't stick with it, and you won't learn as well. Be patient with yourself. Those whispers in the crowd get clearer over time.
Okay, let's get practical with resources. We've picked out some TV series that are gold mines for C2 listening, natural flow, culture, accents, idioms.
Right. First up, if you're feeling brave, The West Wing.
Ah, Sorkin speak.
Exactly. Notoriously fast, witty dialogue. Characters talk over each other. Lots of political jargon, filibuster, caucus veto. It's intense.
A real challenge.
Definitely. If you can follow The West Wing, you're doing incredibly well. A good C2 exercise is to pause after those fast exchanges and try to explain the jargon simply or spot the rhetorical tricks. Try the episode 2 Cathedrals.
Okay. Something maybe a bit less intense.
How about Friends?
A classic sitcom. Some might think it's too easy for C2.
Not at all. At C2, you're listening differently. You're analyzing the comedic timing, the rhythm of banter, how language reveals personality, Chandler's sarcasm, Phoebe's quirks. Focus on idioms, phrasal verbs, how jokes land through delivery. The one with the embryos, the quiz episode, is great for that rapid back and forth.
Good one. What about different speech styles and accents?
For that, Breaking Bad is fascinating.
Dark, but brilliant.
Intense language, yeah. But you get Walter White's careful, sophisticated speech contrasting with Jesse Pinkman's slang. And you hear Walter's language change as he changes. Plus, it's set in New Mexico, so you get regional touches, some Hispanics mixed in.
What's the C2 angle there?
Analyze how language shifts under pressure or how characters use it to manipulate. This is for subtext. Ozymandias is a masterclass in tension through dialogue.
Okay. And for British English?
Has to be Sherlock.
Cumberbatch on Fast Forward.
Pretty much. Rich, witty, incredibly fast British English. His monologues are amazing listening practice. Contrast that with Watson's more grounded speech. It's full of puns, wordplay, cultural references.
A C2 challenge for Sherlock.
Try transcribing one of those rapid-fire monologues.
Right.
Then pick it apart, the word choices, the implications. Start with the first episode, A Study in Pink.
We should probably mention a few others quickly, too, like Mad Men for that 60s sophisticated style.
Yes, great for understanding persuasion and subtext. Or Black Mirror for tech concepts and ethical debates.
The Crown for very formal, RP English.
Observing how language signals status and evolves over time. And The Office, US, for cringe humor and natural, often improvised office talk.
Okay, moving beyond TV, audiobooks. You mentioned they're great for focused listening. Any specific recommendations for advanced learners?
Definitely. For a literary challenge with a distinct accent, To Kill a Mockingbird read aloud is powerful. Southern U.S. accent, rich vocabulary. Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Complex ideas, but presented clearly and engagingly in audio form. Great for academic-style listening.
Sci-fi.
The Martian by Andy Weir. Thrilling story, but also great for witty dialogue and technical terms used naturally.
How should you use these advanced audiobooks?
Maybe listen once for the story, the gist. Then go back. Focus on tricky sections. Try transcribing bits. Maybe even shadow the narrator for pacing and intonation on certain passages.
And there are loads more resources, right? Academic stuff.
Yeah, university courses online, Coursera, ADX, Udemy. Check out YouTube channels like Stanford Online, tons of free lectures. Read advanced fiction, specialized articles, but find audio versions if you can.
General listening.
BBC Radio 4 is fantastic for high-level discussions, documentaries. TED Talks are great, often have transcripts.
Something really challenging.
Try rap music.
Seriously.
High word density, different accents, complex wordplay. Or talk radio with multiple speakers interrupting each other. That's real-world chaos.
And specific practice tools.
Official Cambridge Advanced Listening materials are good benchmarks. Apps like ALSA Speak or Fluent U can offer targeted practice, sometimes with feedback.
Okay, wow. That's a lot to work with.
It is. So just to wrap up, we've looked at what C2 listening really involves, those common hurdles like speed and accents, and a whole cool box of techniques, shadowing, Dictogloss, predictive listening.
Plus, ways to use resources like TV shows and audiobooks strategically.
Exactly. Remember, the goal isn't just understanding every single word. It's deeper than that.
It's the meaning behind the words.
The meaning, the humor, the intention, the cultural context. Getting those whispers in the crowded room we started with.
It's an adventure, this C2 journey.
It really is. And every little stumble, every moment of confusion, it's just a step towards deeper understanding. So find listening you love, make it a habit, be patient.
And watch your fluency soar. Tune in, turn up the volume.
And happy listening.
You know that feeling? You're listening to English, maybe someone's talking really fast or the words seem to melt together. Or maybe it's an accent you've just never heard before and suddenly you feel lost. It's super frustrating, right? Trying to really understand, not just hear. So what if you could actually master that? Get to that advanced English listening level?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. Think of this as your practical guide for getting to C2 English listening. And it's more than just hearing words. It's about getting the nuances, the hidden meanings, the whole context. We'll break down what C2 really means, bust some myths around it, and then we'll give you concrete strategies, things based on what language experts say and what works in the real world. We're even going to look at what feels like a secret code, advanced English idioms.
Right. So our mission here is basically to give you the tools, the insights, everything you need to feel confident with complex English listening, whether that's for something specific like the Cambridge C2 exam, or for your job, or honestly just for everyday chats without feeling stressed. Okay, so let's get into it. There's this common idea about C2, isn't there? That you have to sound exactly like a native speaker or have absolutely perfect grammar. But then you sometimes hear people who say they're C2 and you still notice errors. It's a bit confusing. What's the real deal?
Yeah, that's a big misconception. The actual CEFR definition for C2 says you can converse comfortably and appropriately, unhampered by any linguistic limitations. Now, basically, you can handle a full social and personal life in the language. It stresses precision, appropriateness, and ease. But crucially, it's for highly successful learners. It doesn't mean native speaker level. And it even notes that non-native features that do not prohibit communication don't really matter. It's about effective communication, not erasing who you are.
Ah, okay. That's a really important point. So less about being flawless, more about being highly effective and comfortable across the board. It almost sounds like C2 implies pretty strong thinking skills too,
Yeah.
like being able to summarize complicated stuff, make a good argument, get subtle points, which, let's be honest, even some native speakers might struggle with if they haven't had specific education or training.
Exactly right. And that's why official certifications matter. Think Cambridge C2 proficiency used to be called CPE, or a high IELTS score, like band 8 or more in listening. They're looking for that ability to handle complex tasks, like in academia or a demanding job. It's not about mimicking slang perfectly. It's about deep comprehension and articulate use of the language. That's why self-assessment at this level, well, it can be pretty unreliable. You really need that external benchmark.
That definitely clears things up. So C2 is achievable but requires serious skill. Now let's get practical. What are the actual hurdles advanced learners face, and crucially, what can you do about them? We've gathered insights from language experts on this.
Okay, first big challenge. Trying to catch every single word. It seems logical,
Yeah.
but it often backfires. You get so focused on the tiny details that you actually miss the main point, the overall message.
Right, you get lost in the weeds. So if we shouldn't obsess over every word, how do we build confidence? What's the alternative strategy?
Transcripts are your friend here, but use them smartly. Listen first, maybe a couple of times, then look at the transcript. And don't just look for the words you missed. The key thing is to check. Did you still get the main idea, the gist? And at C2 level, you go deeper. Use the transcript to see why you missed things. Was it connected speech? A weird intonation? It helps you dissect how native speakers actually sound.
I like that, dissecting the mechanics. Okay, next hurdle, connected speech. This is a big one. That thing where words just seem to smush together, sounds change or disappear. Like you said, go on, becoming gone. It's not just speed, is it? It's how the sounds link up. It feels like a kind of linguistic magic trick sometimes. How do we crack that code?
Familiarization is the absolute key. You have to train your ears. Practically, that means listening to tons of natural conversation, podcasts, interviews, movies, and actively noticing those connections. And shadowing is brilliant for this. Repeating what you hear almost immediately. It forces you to mimic the rhythm, the intonation, and those tricky connections. And for C2, don't just repeat the words. Try to copy the exact stress patterns, the musicality. That's where so much meaning lies.
That's a great tip, focusing on the musicality. But if shadowing feels too intense right away, is there a way to ease into it?
Definitely. Start with slowing down the audio playback speed, like 0.75x speed. It's like training wheels for your ears.
Yeah.
You can hear the individual sounds blending more clearly. Then, once you get comfortable, slowly bring it back up to normal speed.
Makes sense. All right, moving on. Accents. English is everywhere, right? So you've got British, American, Australian, Indian, Scottish, Irish. Endless variations. Sometimes it really does feel like learning a different language because the pronunciation, the rhythm, even some words can be totally different. What's the secret here?
There's no secret, really. It's just exposure, exposure, exposure. Simple as that. The more varied accents you listen to, the better your brain gets at processing them. It stops being thrown off by the differences. It's like building this internal accent library. Your brain learns the patterns.
Okay, so immerse yourself. Where can people find good sources for lots of different accents?
Well, the classic places are great. BBC Learning English often features various voices. NPR in the US, TED Talks have speakers from all over. But you can be more targeted, too. Look at platforms like LingQ or Audible, where you might be able to filter by accent. Find YouTubers or podcasters from specific regions you find tricky. Even just watching international news gives you that accidental exposure to reporters from different backgrounds.
Good suggestions. Okay, challenge number 4, idioms and phrasal verbs. The spice of English, as some say. But, oh boy, can they be confusing? Because the meaning isn't literal at all, is it? How do you get good at catching these on the fly?
You're right, the literal meaning is usually useless. It's all about understanding the figurative sense, the shared cultural understanding. Keeping a dedicated vocabulary journal for idioms and phrasal verbs helps. But the most important thing, context is king. For C2, it's not just knowing bite the bullet means face something difficult. It's hearing it in fast speech and instantly getting that non-literal meaning and the feeling behind it, that sense of stoic endurance.
Right, it's that instant recognition, that cognitive jump. Where can you get good exposure to these in natural use?
Sitcoms and talk shows. They're absolute gold mines. They're just packed with everyday idioms and phrasal verbs used naturally in conversation.
Perfect excuse to watch more TV. Okay, next up, losing focus and background noise. This is so real world. Trying to follow a conversation in a noisy cafe or at a party, it's tough to stay tuned in with all the distractions. What's the C2 level approach?
You can actually train for this. Some apps let you simulate listening with background noise, and you can adjust the level. Or, just do it for real. Go sit in a cafe and deliberately try to follow conversations around you. But the crucial thing in noisy places is not trying to hear every word. That's impossible. Instead, focus strategically. Train yourself to catch the key words, identify the main pieces of information, filter the noise, grab the essentials.
Strategic listening. I like that. Now the classic, the dreaded fast talker. We've all been there. Someone speaking at what feels like light speed and maybe throwing in connected speech too. It's a double whammy.
And again, the principle is start slow, build up, gradually increase the playback speed on audio or video you're comfortable with.
Yeah, like maybe watch a YouTube clip with subtitles first at normal speed, then watch again without subtitles, then maybe try it at 1.25x speed. Your brain actually adapts. It learns to process faster. Speed listening exercises can really help build that muscle.
Exactly. And this ties into something called predictive listening. It's a more advanced skill. You start using the context, the grammar, your knowledge of the topic, even cultural norms, to anticipate what the speaker might say next. It gives you a kind of head start, so you're not always playing catch-up, especially with fast speakers.
That sounds like a superpower. Okay, final challenge we'll cover. Lack of exposure to authentic conversations. Because let's face it, textbook English isn't how people really talk, is it? Real chat is messy, full of interruptions, slang, ums, and ahs.
Absolutely. That's why nothing beats real interaction with native or highly proficient speakers. But if that's hard to arrange regularly, you need other sources of authentic input.
Right, like vlogs, maybe?
Yeah.
Reality TV shows can be surprisingly useful for catching real unscripted dialogue. Radio phone-in shows, audiobooks with lots of natural-sounding dialogue, basically anything that isn't overly polished or scripted.
Yes, all great examples. And don't forget language exchange platforms online. They're fantastic for connecting with people for real practice, both listening and speaking. It's a win-win.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground, the challenges, the strategies. Now let's bring it all home. How do these skills connect to something like the C2 exam and also just everyday life?
We'll take the Cambridge C2 proficiency listening test. It's about 40 minutes, 4 parts, 30 questions. You'll hear things like lectures, interviews, discussions. And the tasks, multiple choice, sentence completion, matching speakers to opinions. They directly test your ability to handle exactly the things we've talked about. Understanding detail, opinion, attitude, gist, inference, even in complex scenarios.
And for everyday life, let's use that James's Day example from our prep material. It perfectly shows this stuff in action, like his super casual morning man greeting that's connected speech right there, or when he says, I'll let you know, instead of a direct yes or no that's pragmatic understanding. Just listening to people chat about their commute, ordering coffee, discussing work. It's all packed with these nuances, the idioms, the rhythm of real English, which actually brings us neatly to that secret code you mentioned, advanced idioms.
Exactly. These phrases are everywhere in advanced English, and they add layers of meaning. Knowing them isn't just vocabulary, it's cultural fluency. Let's look at a few, grouped by situation. Okay, first, everyday situations. Bite the bullet means facing something unpleasant with courage, like I had to bite the bullet and tell my boss about the mistake. You instantly get the sense of reluctance, but necessary action, hit the nail on the head, means you described something perfectly or found the exact cause. Your analysis of the problem really hit the nail on the head. Immediate sense of accuracy. The ball's in your court. It's your turn to make a decision or take action. We've made our offer. The ball is in your court now. Clear transfer of responsibility.
Right. Those are super common. What about work and business?
Good ones there, too. Back to the drawing board, meaning you have to start over because the first plan failed. The client hated the design, so it's back to the drawing board. Signals a complete restart. Throw in the towel. Means giving up, admitting defeat. Often used when facing a huge challenge. After weeks of trying, they finally threw in the towel on the project. It's a metaphor from boxing. For surrender. Think outside the box. Means being creative, not sticking to old ideas. We need someone who can think outside the box for this marketing campaign. Encourages innovation.
Okay, got it. How about social situations?
Definitely. Spill the beans. Means revealing a secret, maybe accidentally. Don't spill the beans about the surprise party, like letting something slip out. Go the extra mile. Putting in more effort than required. She always goes the extra mile for her clients. Shows real dedication. Hit it off. Feeling an immediate connection with someone new. We just met, but we really hit it off, like instant chemistry.
Yeah, I used that one. What about difficult situations?
Okay. Through thick and thin. Means being loyal and supportive during good times and bad. They've been married 50 years, sticking together through thick and thin. Signifies deep commitment. Between a rock and a hard place. Stuck between two bad options. Taking the job means moving, but staying means no promotion. I'm between a rock and a hard place. Conveys a real dilemma. Cut to the chase. Get straight to the main point, skip the details. We don't have much time, so let's cut to the chase. Signals efficiency, directness.
Very useful. And finally, success and failure.
Right? A blessing in disguise. Something that seems bad initially but turns out good. Losing that job was a blessing in disguise. I started my own successful business. Finding the positive and negative. Burn the midnight oil. Working or studying very late into the night. I was burning the midnight oil all week to finish that report. Conveys hard work and maybe lack of sleep. Jump on the bandwagon. Joining something popular just because it's trendy or successful. Everyone's investing in this new tech, so I decided to jump on the bandwagon. Can imply following the crowd. So wrapping up our deep dive today on C2 listening, the big takeaway really is, don't get bogged down trying to catch every single word. Focus instead on understanding the overall message. Get comfortable with connected speech. Expose yourself widely to accents. Learn idioms in context. Practice focusing in noisy places. Build up your tolerance for speed gradually. And really seek out authentic, messy, real-world conversations. Remember, these challenges are normal, even for advanced learners. But with these strategies, you absolutely can overcome them.
That's such a good point. It's a journey, isn't it? Improving listening takes time, takes consistent effort. So be kind to yourself. Maybe just pick one or two things we talked about today that really clicked for you and start there. Small steps, consistently, make a huge difference over time.
So here's a final thought for you to take away. Now that you know about these common pitfalls and you have some solid strategies, what specific type of English audio are you going to choose to listen to today? How will you challenge yourself right now to put these ideas into practice? Think about it, and then go do it.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive. It's been really insightful. Until next time, happy listening.